As the ratings disaster continues to get worse for With Love Meghan, and given the fact that Meghan Markle is dealing with a lot of criticism, and rightfully so, and for valid reasons by the general public, we already know that Meghan Markle is dealing with a lot of issues between herself, the Netflix executives, CEO Greg Peters, and the board of directors, who are basically very heavily divided right now. We have 40% of the board that are actually against Meghan Markle. They want nothing to do with her anymore, while 60% of the board are all in support of Meghan Markle and what she plans to do for supposedly season 2, and I keep saying supposedly because they are spinning it as a season 2 when in reality it is nothing more than season 1 part 2, if that makes sense. But let's move on here. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So, With Love Meghan is already going into another ratings disaster by this fall. As we all know, we have another season on the way, and it's not really a season 2. I've talked about this many times. This is basically just splitting everything up apart for the first one. But what's interesting here has a lot more to do with the additional filming planned and exactly what Meghan Markle's behavior is like right now between herself and Netflix, and what she's about to do when it comes to politics, and how this is only going to make matters worse, not just for Netflix losing subscribers, but also for Meghan Markle's sake and what she's trying to do by remaining in the limelight or the spotlight or whatever have you. Let's get into this further. Now, we already know that Meghan Markle is making some of the worst choices out there possible. We already know that she's creating more problems for Netflix, and CEO Greg Peters tried to warn the board, way ahead of time. We're talking about months and months ahead of time that this show would be an utter disaster. Now, with Meghan Markle, of course, dealing with the backlash and how that's continuing to grow after the release of With Love Meghan Season 1, and how they are spinning the first one as a part 2, as a second season, one major development going on now involves more to do with Meghan Markle's behavior after the With Love Meghan backlash and the internal studio drama that took place in regards to the series. Now, Meghan Markle is already going on yet another rampage behind the scenes after 40% of the board members called for Meghan Markle and the other side of the board to drop and cancel their plans for Kamala Harris to come on board of With Love Meghan Season 2 for the 3rd episode to participate in a cooking session with Meghan Markle. Now, get this, Meghan Markle is reportedly already getting so much heat from the Netflix CEO Greg Peters and the board members and some executives that support him for creating the plan to bring on both Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom for additional filming related to Season 2. 60% of the board that support Kamala to join a filming session in a rented house is expected to be as terrible as anyone would predict. The plan for Episode 3, where it stands right now, is that Meghan Markle and Kamala Harris are planning to film scenes together baking cupcakes related to July the 4th, and to add political commentary over baking a couple of pies as well in the rented house. To make matters worse for both Markle and Netflix is that by dragging in Kamala Harris, they plan to make the 3rd episode into a full-on political cooking show, political cooking commentary session episode essentially, where President Donald J. Trump is expected to be heavily criticized by Kamala Harris extensively in the episode. Now, Harris and her team have already accepted to film for Episode 3 by this June, and the tone of the episode, like I said before, will all be centered on July 4th, and cooking food and making sweets centered around that holiday. Now, Greg Peters, the Netflix CEO, is already in a heated argument with the 60% of the board that are planning to turn the show into a cooking political commentary show for Gavin Newsom to take part in Episode 6, while Kamala Harris will take part in Episode 3. So guys, let that sink in for a moment there. The fact that they want to turn this into a full-fledged political commentary show for 2 episodes, roughly, for Season 2, it goes to show you exactly how far Netflix and Meghan Markle are willing to go to just bash on Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States, in With Love Meghan Season 2. And I kind of hate how I keep saying Season 2 because it's really not that, but that's what they're calling it. But let's get further into this because it only gets worse from there. The fact that they are still going to use a rented house, mind you, and how they're going to drag Kamala Harris into that rented house to bake cupcakes and bake all these different foods and sweets centered on July the 4th, it really does work hand in hand with the filming session that's supposed to take place by early June, alright? So the first week of June is their window to get this all wrapped up, to get this done ahead of time, before things, of course, close for Season 2, as they want to drop this thing in the fall. They're eyeing around late September, early October at this point to drop Season 2. Now, Episode 6, like I said before, will feature Gavin Newsom, and plans for Meghan Markle to overlay footage of the LA fires are already given the green light by the Netflix board of directors. Both Meghan Markle and Kamala Harris already held a remote meeting with each other where they went over the story ideas for Episode 3 and what items they plan to cook and bake for filming. Harris is expected to be on film for roughly, get this, 15 whole minutes during the show, and even Mindy Kaling will join the both of them, of course, since Mindy already shared some filming sessions before in the past with Harris, separately from With Love Meghan. This entire episode is planned to be Kamala Harris-centric. Even the Netflix executives and producers are raising serious concerns over additional filming for Season 2. It turns out that Kamala and Meghan had a mutual agreement with Kamala, since her appearance will benefit the both of them, as Kamala seeks to gain traction in the political landscape again before 2028, and is desperately planning to go on other shows. Now again, we already know that both Kamala and Gavin Newsom, they're trying to go on different podcasts, they're trying to go on different shows, they're trying to be all relatable as they can be, and it's just backfiring. Let's be honest about this. It's really not working for the both of them in the end, and if really Gavin Newsom plans to run by 2028, in which he is, we all know what he's trying to do, this is going to hurt him in the long run, and it's not going to help how heavily criticized he already is. As for Kamala Harris, look, I think that's just pretty much, a moot point at this point. There's really no way for her to go anywhere, and this is only going to make things worse for her sake. But again, it's also going to lose Netflix a ton of subscribers. It's one thing to get political with a cooking show of all things. It's another thing to drag in Kamala Harris, the very person that lost the 2024 election to Donald Trump, and how they're going to use that as an avenue to bash Donald Trump for around 15 minutes while they cook and bake cookies and cupcakes and pies and all this nonsense. It just goes to show you exactly how far Netflix is willing to go to really get political. And again, I mean, we've seen this time and time again with a lot of other studios out there that just want to keep that resistance at bay. They want to keep that resistance going when it comes to politics. But again, I think at the end of the day as well, Meghan Markle is really going to deal with a lot of backlash by this fall if they do get this thing all done and wrapped and really get it, baked into Season 2, no pun intended there. I think it's really going to backfire. I think it's going to lose Netflix a ton of subscribers, even more so than they're losing right now, not just due to Meghan Markle's series, but also due to the rate hikes. And not to mention, they actually plan to hike, more rates again by the later half of 2025. We'll have a lot more to talk about those price increases coming in the next couple of months, and that's only going to create more problems for Netflix as well. Overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.